Good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening. Welcome to the Pivotal Podspective, the show where I'm your host, Elliot Brown, and my wonderful co-host,
Adrian. Hello, everyone, and hello to you, Elliot.
Hello. Well, we get guest extraordinaires from all over the globe to come and chat with us all about things that they do, things that are pivotal, all to help us all in this brand new world of ours, not just personally, but professionally as well. So it may be something to do with your brand. It may be something to do with your business. Whatever it is, it's here to help you all pivot. We're on a quest, my friend, aren't we?
Always on a quest. Sorry, never-ending quests.
A never-ending quest, and we get all sorts of different guests to come on the show. And this evening we have a guest extraordinaire, Riese Frederick. Now, Riese Frederick is this is very interesting. He's a publisher, sales funnel architect, and motivator. And what does that mean? I hear you cry. Yeah, I heard a few cries there. Well, basically, he helps people publish informational material, create content and courses, and train business owners, entrepreneurs, and coaches on how to use sales funnels to attract their perfect customers, their ideal clients, in essence. He likes them to help them to achieve a clear vision. Now, this is something we all struggle with. I've definitely struggled with it. Adrian, struggled with it in the past?
Always, It only takes quite a bit of time until you realize what you have to do and how you have to do it. And that's why it's good to have people like Riese to help you.
Absolutely. And listen, I mean, funnels, I think, are a minefield, and they're also a really grey area. There are lots of businesses out there that do funnels, and we know of those. But what Riese does, which is slightly different, and that's what makes this show really impactful today, is we're going to find out how to create the content. And this is what Riese is really incredible at. So without further ado, let's just bring our guest on, shall we?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's do that. Hey, Riese.
Elliot.
Hello, Riese.
Adrian, how are you guys?
We are great.
Good to hear. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. And you're in Vegas as well. I mean, everybody knows I love Vegas. Adrian, you are going to love Vegas, that's for sure.
I am in Las Vegas.
And he's the second. Well, last week we had another guest from Vegas as well. So it looks like we're getting much closer to Vegas than we ever thought.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, Vegas is coming back to life a little bit at the moment, Riese, isn't it?
It is. It's open enough for you guys to come on out, and we'll belly up to the to our favorite spot, and come on back up.
Yeah, we will do for sure. Yeah. And you went out there for a weekend and stayed how many years?
Came out for a weekend. I've been here 11 years.
That's what Vegas is great for. Big love. Listen, guys, go for a weekend and stay there for 11 years. I'll be honest, you don't really want to go. If you've got no responsibilities, do it. I absolutely recommend it. Listen,
just a quick question before that. I'm just curious, what made you stay? It was love? It was partying? It was friends? It was.
I walked into one of the mega clubs. It was Valentine's Day weekend. And I walked into one of those mega clubs, and I was just of the proper mindset. And I walked in, and when it hit me, I said, I want this all the time. I was in San Diego. I lived in San Diego at the time. I went back to San Diego, sold everything I had. Within 2 weeks, I was here.
Did you really? Wow.
So it was love in a way, the love for Vegas.
I can sum Vegas. It's taken me 11 years. You guys are going to love this. I can sum Las Vegas up in one word: accessibility.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? That's very, very true.
Just about any time, any day, anything.
It is absolutely true. Well, listen, we're going to be chatting how to use funnels to attract your ideal customers and clients. And you are the man to help us create content and talk about how to create the content. Because, listen, before I started recording, absolutely, we all know what funnels are, and if you don't want to know what a funnel is, if you've been onto Facebook and you've seen maybe a product or a service that you're really interested in, and it's a sponsored ad, an advert, a lot of the time you'll click on that and it will take you into a funnel. So it may take you through a process of explaining what the process, what the advert's about, what the product's about, what the service is about, and then get you into a point where you might click a button and it may take you somewhere else. So it's funneling you in. Anybody that's been in sales for many years, this is in essence the digital way that we all used to use, by grabbing, they're throwing a big wide net out and then filtering it down so we can, by the time we get into the point of the funnel, we've got the absolutely ideal client or ideal customer. Is that a pretty easy way of explaining it, guys? Do you reckon?
It is. Another one I like to use all the time is Amazon. When you're going down the page, you're looking at your target product. Before you get too far down the page, people who bought this also bought this. There's your upsell. And then they give you 3. So maybe you don't want all 3 choices, right? So your upsells, your 3 items. Well, I don't want all 3 of these. Well, they give you an option of taking one away. You're still getting a complimentary item. So there's a downsell. And then you move along through the funnel there. You get to your checkout page. What do they hit you with? Why not join our credit card company?
Yeah.
That's Amazon is the best living funnel out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a seamless process, isn't it? It's a seamless funnel. To be honest, it works very well, and they do it on every single time you purchase. I mean, that's it. It's all about that. Listen, if you're
McDonald's, would you like fries with that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. If you're watching this live, let us know you're watching live by giving us a hashtag and say who you are and live. It should say on Facebook or on YouTube or on Twitter as well, because we're going across multiple profiles. And if you aren't and you're watching afterwards, then put hashtag replay. Let us know where you're watching. Give us some love hearts or some thumbs up as well, and let us know you love what we're doing. And if there's any questions you guys have for Riese or for us or for the show, then drop them in the comments below and we'll bring those up onto the screen. And of course, like Helkel, who says, hello, geezers.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us. Big love to you all. You can share this, of course, as well. Let's get straight in there, right? Yeah. Funnels, great tool. It's a perfect tool for the digital world, and definitely being a big growth this year, as you said before we start recording. Lots of more coaches and business people that are working from home and want to get themselves out there and maybe want to get that wide net and and bring those people in. Content wise, right? This is a head fuck. I mean, I've said this before. Creating content for anything, whether it be a social media strategy, whether it be some copywriting for some posts, but funnels, you've really got to grab somebody's attention, right? You've got to make it apparent for them as well. What's your sort of rule of thumb for your first step to get that sort of wider part of the funnel to get them involved?
Ask my client, what's your perfect customer? In your head, what is the perfect customer?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the avatar conversation comes up. But the first thing that people have to imagine is a lot of people will think of a group of people they're trying to help.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull something out of the air. A plumber thinks that he helps homeowners.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, in a way he does. But plumbing, I mean, you narrow it down. Do I help new homeowners? Do I help, is it new builds? Is it reconstruction? If he can narrow it down, do I help homeowners who live in Las Vegas? They have to figure out who their perfect target is and then start with that, because that's where the message is going to go.
Yeah, for sure. Adrian, it's not always the easiest thing, though, is it, mate? I mean, we've had these conversations before where you talk to people. I'm not just directing this straight to Adrian, but we've had this, of course, Riese, speaking to clients, potential clients, or somebody just having a conversation with at a show. I mean, we've had this thing before, but I mean, it's not an easy thing, is it, to get somebody in their own business to think about what their ideal client is? You think it would be easy, but it's not always easy.
No,
and that's what I wanted to ask. That's why I wanted to ask Riese. Do you find it more difficult to do those things for yourself than for your customers?
No, when I latch onto an industry or a target, if I don't know, I find out who has the biggest problem in the industry, because that's going to be the guy I can help the most. So to me, that's going to be the perfect customer, because frankly, that's the guy who's got the biggest need. He's probably going to pay the most.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's going to help. It's going to help me. It's going to save me time. It's going to save me money, because I'm not going to be trying to reach out to the wrong people. So I get in there and I do a little research, find out where the pain points are, and then I go for that. I don't go for a group of people. I go for, I try to narrow it down to, for instance, here's one for you. Instead of like trying to get in financial services, I heard the other day about 401k, orphaned 401ks.
Right.
Okay.
Which is what, translate that because we're obviously slightly different over in the UK.
Okay. U.S. corporate or over here, there's a lot of people got laid off from businesses that offer a 401k. It's a retirement plan.
Oh, okay.
So when people leave these jobs, more often than not, this money's left behind.
Right.
So it's left in this retirement program. It's just kind of sitting there. It's not doing a damn thing for anybody. It's not working for the company or anybody. So there's this big problem now with these people who are out there don't realize that they have money that's tied up in their 401k, and it's called orphaned 401ks. Okay. So to me right now, if I were to jump into the financial realm and start, I'd be going after that because that's a targeted market. Instead of me saying, hey, I've got mortgages and hey, I've got small business loans and hey, I can refinance your equipment for your restaurant. Too broad, way too broad, too many moving parts. Hey, did you just lose your job in corporate America and you have a 401k account that's sitting there not making you money? Let's get your money. And that's where my funnel would start.
Makes sense. And so that's your first step, right? Is finding out your avatar, your ideal client. Let's note that down. So we've got that written down. So the next stage is we've then got to create the right bit of copy for them, the right bit of copywriting, the right bit of content to do that. How do you create that? I mean, I think before we started recording, you were saying that what you do is you engross yourself in the client's sort of business and their industry to understand. But that still doesn't necessarily mean that you can write something that's going to attract some attention. What do you use? Do you use some images? Do you use some video? What's the best way of doing it right now? Because things have changed this year. Well, in the last 12, 24 months, things have changed even with funnels, right? It used to be, there'd be quite a lot of copy. You might have an image in there. We've had an introduction of a lot more video now as well. So what's the most powerful way of getting a funnel to work really well to just grab that attention immediately?
The headline. The hook, we call it. The most attention grabbing thing of all is going to be a headline. Whether you're creating a video, whether you're sending out emails, whether you're doing podcasts, whether you're creating just a small actual funnel, you got to have a hook, a story, and an offer. And the very first thing to grab somebody is going to be the hook all the time. So without the hook, you've got nothing. So what's the hook? You say, well, what I like to do, believe it or not, is when I was working on a recent customer, a recent client, and I told you he was in concrete coatings, which I clearly know nothing about. Yeah. I joined as many Facebook groups as I could find on concrete. Yeah. Concrete artistry, concrete finishers, etc. And I started asking these guys. And when I joined the groups, they said, "Are you in concrete?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm a publisher. I'm looking to interview your people. I want to know what bothers people about uncoated concrete." I got a lot of information. I got so much information in a matter of hours. I put out my little requests. Hey, concrete professionals, what's the difference between this epoxy and this coating? I got so much information, I was overwhelmed. And then what I do is I compile it. I put it in a neat, nice little format. I can send that off as an ebook or an article or report. That's my lead magnet. And then based on all the information I got back, I clearly know where the pain points are for people who want concrete coating. So that's what I hit. Hey, homeowners in Las Vegas, are you sick and tired of watching your house rot from unsealed concrete? Check this out. ... Okay. So that's what I have found to be the easiest way. Reach out to the professionals. If you don't know what you're talking about, go talk to the people who do. People love to tell you about what they do. You guys know. So within a matter of hours, you can have so much content put together. You can make, then if you don't know jack about it, you can film a video and look like you know what the hell you're talking about because you do, because you've talked to experts. Yeah.
That makes a pretty valid point. I mean, if you're in the industry already, then you're likely to sort of have a bit of information as well. But I suppose even if you are, what's the harm in going into a group anyway and asking questions and asking? Because I'd have to be honest with you, I do think, and I've said this time and time again, I do genuinely believe that in America, you guys are a lot happier to impart information to each other, right? You're less scared about losing business to one another.
That's because we like to talk about ourselves, man.
Yeah, well, listen, and well, so do I, but you know, but I think you genuinely do. In the UK, it does seem to be a little bit different. I think we're definitely this year. I think things have changed slightly. So, but I think getting into a group and having a conversation in an arena that you're already in is a great way of getting good feedback from people. Adrian, we've seen this recently, haven't we? I mean, you've been getting a bit more involved in groups and things as well, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. I said that about groups, and it's always so much information over there. Just like you said, if you join some of the groups, because take it a bit logic, if you find, I've seen like people that love making candles, there's a really big hype with making your own soy wax candles now and starting a business with that. There are groups there. Yeah, there are groups there with over 100,000 people in a group, things like that. I had to do that a while ago, about 2 years ago, actually, for someone. And there's so much information. It's a very targeted group. So why the hell if you ask Google or Quora and stuff like that, they're still not as targeted as if you go into a group like that. Obviously, maybe 5-10% of those people will be there just to sell things, or maybe, try to grab you in a different way. But the other 90% are very relevant people that have genuine issues, or they want to grow and they want to sell. So I think you can learn a lot from there.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring up candles, because a lot of your listeners, I'm assuming, if they're in the digital marketing world at all, might have heard of a gentleman by the name of Ryan Dice out of Texas. And him and his partner actually built a huge digital marketing empire, and one of their first products was candle wicks.
Right.
They sold candle wicks.
Well, just the wicks themselves.
Yeah, just the wicks. They sold wicks by a 10-pack. Then they had an upsell where you can buy them by the 100 or the 1,000. Then they had another upsell to where you could learn how to make candles and you could keep buying stuff. And they literally built a mega digital empire. And one of their first products was candle wicks.
Yeah, and just to get an idea about that, wicks are very important, because what I've learned in those groups, if you don't have the right wicks, then that means that the candle is not going to burn right. It's going to smoke way too much. He's not gonna, every time when you take it off, then
you know too much about this, Adrian.
Yeah, that's what you learn, and you're right. The wicks are very important when people decide to make their own candles, because you have to choose the right wick.
And what you just said right there is the first thing. You had 3 hooks right there in that. The candle doesn't burn right. The candle smokes. Yeah. It's going to make or pops, or and that's not going to be a very pleasant candle. And if you're trying to make money off your candles, it's going to kill your business. So if not being a candle maker, and even though I made someone as a kid, that'd be my 3 hooks right there. At least one of my hooks is in there somewhere.
I mean, going back to that business though, what a great business! I mean, listen, some of the best businesses are the ones that is the smallest, cheapest product that you're knocking out in the thousands, hundreds of thousands. I remember somebody saying to me when I was younger I think I saw a huge house somewhere, and I've always been intrigued by these people with big properties. I'm always intrigued at what the person's like and what they've done to get to that stage from a very early age. In fact, my son does it with me now. And there was I think it was one house that I'd seen, and it was this guy had basically it was the very early days of curtain poles. It wasn't the actual poles themselves, it was the rings that go on the curtain poles. And I'm not being funny, one curtain pole takes how many rings? And that's clever. Of course, then you've got the upsell of sticking the pole in there as well after you're doing the I mean, some of the smartest businesses are the most simple products, and there's still stuff out there. Even in the digital world, it's not always the big product that you want to put out there. It's all of the small pieces that you need to make those big products work, or that big bit of software work, isn't it?
It is. Here's one for you. I could take that guy's plastic shower rings and turn them into $1,000 with a sales funnel, with presenting it properly.
Yeah.
Here we go. I'll give you a 6-pack of rings, right? I know how many rings it takes to go into shower curtains. It takes 12.
Yeah.
I'll give you 6 free.
Yeah.
I'll sell you 6 and I'll give you 6 free. When you get to my order page, there's going to be a little upsell box, and it's going to say, hey, I've got this great shower pole, shower curtain. There's going to be something in there. Then the next one's going to come up, and I'm going to offer you a bathroom set. I'm going to offer you a shower rod, the rings, a curtain, maybe some accessories for the tank, right? Then I'm going to find out, I'm going to offer you some sort of decorating, some sort of bathroom ideas, some sort of modeling ideas, and like a subscription.
like a tidy to go with you to go put your products on.
Yeah. Then maybe I'm going to offer you a monthly subscription to my newsletter where I do household decorating. I'm changing up a room. I'm improving a room. Then at the very end, I'm going to offer you a master class on some design or interior design courses, or maybe seamstress coursing on making your own curtains. And I'm going to charge you $997 for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
people are going to buy it. Women are going to buy that. Men are going to buy it.
Yeah, it's a great example. It's a great example, though. It is a great example because, very easily your mindset is there. You understand those bits and pieces, and and you're going to get some people that are going to go down to that bottom and go, yeah, do you know what? I was thinking about getting into redecorating people's bathrooms. There's a big market in it. In fact, actually, my husband's a plumber. That would work really, really well together. So it's clever. It's the way it is. And that's the way you've got to think about your business is doing that. We just had a quick hello over here from Sunil. Hi, Sunil. How you doing? Thanks very much for watching us. Anybody else, of course, is watching, wants to say hi, please do that. We'll bring your hello up onto the screen and ask us any questions that you want as well, of course. Even if it is on the replay, or #replay, ask a question, we can get that answered for you as well. We just want you to join in with what we're doing. Yeah, I love that. I love that. So there you go. There's a perfect funnel for a very simple product.
Yeah, and also, just saying what you said. Yeah, maybe some people want some change of careers, or they have hobbies like that. But sometimes, even if you present it as, I don't know, buy this for $997 and learn to do it yourself. Obviously, someone to come and redecorate your bathroom in US, as far as I know, it's about $10,000 or something like that. So with $1,000 or $997, you're gonna save $9,000. Obviously, It's not a bad deal. All right.
Exactly. You're talking about people starting the businesses. One of the things I'm discovering lately, and that I really enjoy working with people who are they have some sort of artistic skill, and they think it's a hobby. And I talked to a young lady the other day. She was really cool. We were eating cookies and got to talking about chocolate chip cookies, and she's a baker. And it's kind of like a commercial that's going around right now, but we were eating cookies. And I said, it's a great recipe. It's a great cookie. I said, I could sell this thing for you for $1,000. She looked at me. She said, bullshit. Just one word. She was this cute little girl. It's just one word, bullshit. And I took her through kind of the same steps. I went on a free recipe, goes to kitchen utensils, goes to electric, industrial type kitchen items, which goes to a cooking class, a monthly cooking class that she's charging, $1,000 for members on her monthly cooking class. And she does one-on-one coaching. So my point is there's a lot of people out there that have, there's artists, there's a lot of musicians, crafts people. I love the people who do crafts. They have no idea how much money their skills and their talent is worth. So through that's kind of, hence the architect part of the name, because I work with people to help them build off of what is just already kind of there for them, and that's a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, getting clarity with the business owner to do their funnel is a big thing. So we've got you've got your ideal your ideal client, you've got your avatar, you've got your headline, you're grabbing your attention grabbing. Headline, first line to get their attention. You created a video, for example. You've got that in there. You've also then, I'm assuming you've then, assumption is the mother of all fuck up, so I don't know, I shouldn't really assume, but I'm assuming that you then are going to maybe give them a bit of detail about what it is that's going to grab their attention as well. So you've got a bit of copy so that you're getting the person that wants to see the visual stuff, but also enough there for somebody to read, because you've got to maybe attract the different types of creatives and the analyticals as well, right?
Correct. I'm actually going to hit them with three things. I'm going to hit them with a problem, which is going to start right in the headline, and it's going to work its way down through the sub headlines. It's just going to be a problem. Yeah. And then I'm going to start to agitate that thing. I'm going to start to really piss a guy off who's not doing well in his business because he's just not focused. Yeah. And then I'm going to offer him a solution. So in my presentation, they're going to be sometimes long, sometimes short. There's going to be problems, agitation, solutions. So after my hook, there's going to be some bullet points that's just going to drive the thoughts home. Not a bunch of details and a bunch of crap that can confuse the mind, but okay, cool. These are the things that hurt me. Then immediately after that, I'm going to give them a call to action. Okay, here's hook, offer, or hook, story, offer. So immediately after telling them their points and how I can fix it, I'm giving them something to act on. You get a call to action.
Yeah.
Then I'll start going into details. I don't go into details at the top of my page. Above the fold, it's 3 things real fast. I'm going to piss you off. I'm going to tell you I know about your problem, but then I'm going to be your hero. Then we'll go into details. And of course, you start just working on that same pain or problem, agitation, solution. And once they know that you know exactly what their problem is, then they're going to be interested. Especially if you're giving away some free information, which every funnel better be giving away some sort of free information.
Yeah. Is that not a bit overdone on the free side? Are you still there's still a massive need for that sort of, they just order and click on a button to get some free information. And tell me, I know the answer to this, but tell me what the benefit is to having a button to give some free information, Riese.
If they don't have a way to take action, they're not going to be able to pull out their wallet and buy your product. You have to give people, and that's the kind of the short version. What you need to do is people have to be taking motion or have to be taking an action in order to get your information so that they can get into your funnel so that you can be getting them in the customer journey.
Yeah.
The reason, of course, as you do know, email marketing. If you're not building a list, you're not building a business. So all the way through my funnel, I mean, from the very, very top, the very first header, there's a call to action.
Yeah.
There's a call to action right underneath my headlines.
Yeah.
And then there's all the way through. My call to actions are always different.
Yeah.
Depending on how far they are through my presentation. I'm not get a free quote, get a free quote, get a free quote. I haven't done it. Maybe get a free quote at the top, but my call to actions are telling you, listen, here's your solution, but you have to push this little red button to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen a couple of things recently that maybe help to filter out. Now, tell me whether this is right or wrong. There are a lot of people that like the free stuff, right? And they don't really want to spend money. And you are, I suppose there's 2 ways of looking at this. We know because we've seen somebody that's done quite an effective funnel, and they charge just, was it $1, Adrian? Was it $1, wasn't it? So charge $1 for to get involved in an online seminar. It was an online coaching session, whatever it was. But quite valuable. I mean, I know these guys. It works really, really well. They've been doing it for a long time, so they've got some social proof already. They actually explain the fact that they're charging the $1 just to eliminate the in essence the freeloaders, the people that are just there to press a button and in essence getting their inboxes filled, which I think we've all been party to. Again, our inbox is filled full of just repetitive stuff to try and get you back into that funnel. Does that work? I would have thought it does. I would have thought you probably do eliminate a lot of time wasters and actually save yourself, although they're automated, these processes a lot, actually save yourself a lot of work as well.
I'm a huge fan of charging $7 for my information.
Hey, I love that number. I love that number. I love a 7. That's a good number for me.
And it goes back to the fact that if you really want what I got, I want you to have a little skin in the game. It's going to kind of separate the looky-loos. It's going to show you've got interest. And now I know I really got someone who really needs help. They really need a solution. And I'm going to work different on this person. Yeah. I'm going to be driving the solution home. If I just got a guy who picks up my free report, I know he's out shopping. I'm hitting him a little softer. Now he's in my nurture campaigns. He was looking at the time. He's shopping me. I get it. But the guy who pulls out $7 and says, "Oh man, I need that 1-page PDF because there's 3 paragraphs in there that are going to help me. Here's my $7."
Yeah,
that's a vested qualified lead. Again, I'm going to go back to the guys I mentioned earlier with the candle wicks. They don't give stuff away. You paid for everything, and I know.
Yeah,
I'm like you guys, man. Oh God, if I could just pony up the dollar amount of shit that I bought. But you know what? It's always been worth it. It's been well worth $7. I mean, first of all, anybody who's offering information in that form is going to make sure that their information is valuable to the end user, whether it's free or not. It's going to be valuable. Yeah. And free does still work. I mean, why? Because I don't give anything away on my front page. If you want my free stuff, I get your email.
Yeah.
So I'm going to market you.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you might think you got this free report, but again, I know that I've got at least a warmer lead because my funnel is reaching out to a targeted, hyper-focused market.
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody who's shopping for toothpaste is going to come across my sales funnel for concrete coating and want a report. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I spark maybe they do in fact need some concrete coating. So they grab that report and they zip on, but I start marking that. But overall, I'm a huge fan of charging for the information. $1, probably too low. If you're going to charge someone, man, $7, $27. I've seen guys do it for. I like charging though. For information.
Yeah, no, I like the 7 for sure. I'm definitely all over 7s. I'm definitely all over 7s. You were going to say something in a second, Adrian.
Yeah, I just want to say that also, I suppose even if you give something for free, you need to give it in such a way that it will pick up their interest for sure, but make them want more. So they're just going to come back to you after that for the, I don't know, next thing, or when you send the next email. Yeah.
Well, and again, the key word is value. The information can't just be a bunch of stuff that you've picked up online and you're just regurgitating that they're reading all over Google. I mean, you got to put some expertise in there. Yeah. Hey, listen, here's what your problem is. I know that. So here's how the solution, you got to put a little bit of expertise in there.
Yeah.
Also going back to the, when you said that people that have hobbies and, they work with, they do craftings and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I bet most of them, and it's not just them, even us in some cases, we don't know our own funnel, right? Because if you go to someone that crafts things, at the end of the day, you can go and like you said, you can start with something small, end up selling a course which is $997 or whatever is the magic number for them. But those people actually they might have spent maybe 10-15 years already working on that hobby. So they've already done research about the best techniques to do that, the best materials to do that, the best machines to do that, if that's the case. So they already have all that knowledge in their head, just is not structured in a way that it's sellable, let's say, at this point.
Absolutely. I create membership courses for a lot of artists and craftspeople, and they do exactly what you say. They know how to do stuff. So they'll take it and I'll show them a couple of very simple free tools that they can use and show them how that they can make a course, a training course, and sell it. And they love it. And like, oh my God, I'm an instructor now. I was like, yeah, last week you were a glass blower. This week you're an educator, because all of a sudden you're stepping up and you're teaching other people. And it's awesome to see you see people change physically when they start thinking of themselves as an educator when they were a glass blower last Tuesday, and something like that. Yeah. But absolutely. And then once they realize that in this day and age, it's easy to put that all into a consumable course, they get it. They all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, now I understand.
I think, a couple of things I picked up from that, I've been in this situation. I've never created one. I've never created a funnel. We've looked at it before and just my head's gone, right, which happens quite a lot. In fact, I'm going to get a GIF made of my head doing that, I think, to be fair. But I've been through the process where I sort of think, well, I don't want to charge for that. I've got to create something. I'm going to go through all these hours of creating something. I don't want to charge for it because I don't want to eliminate people. But the psychology behind that is that actually, if somebody isn't going to buy into that, the likelihood is they're not all going to be into that buying process. They're not going to be on that, as I would call it, acquisition ladder, the client acquisition ladder, so to speak. It's where you're getting them into almost a buying process. It may be $1, it may be $7. It could be $17, it could be $47. There's all these numbers. I like 7s. The 7s are, I think, a good conversion number anyway. I believe there's some psychology behind 7s, and lucky obviously works for me. But in doing that, you may not get as many people, but the people you are getting are way better quality. And that's where you've got to understand the marketing on the digital marketing arena is that it's going to cost you a little bit, but what you're going to get back is far better quality. If you give out for free, what you've got to do is work 10 times as hard to find the quality in amongst those people. Or you've given them that, they've gone off with your information, they found information from somebody else, and somebody else is going to do a better job of getting them into their net and getting them into their funnel. So you've then got to work to get them back into your funnel again. And we all know there's plenty of bits of software out there, Keep, Infusionsoft, or all these other tools that are out there. I'm not just saying that because we're affiliated with things we're not. But let's name a couple of others. So what else is out there that works where you can grab people's attention that we've looked at in the past, Adrian?
No, those are CRMs that you've mentioned over there. So
But what I mean is, once you've got them into your funnel, if they go outside of it, you can then grab them in. So what I'm getting to the point of is that
once you capture their email address, obviously you can use any email service, based software to do that. But then you can use retargeting on Facebook, Google, YouTube, any of those things, which are most important usually, as well. If you capture their telephone number, SMSs, things like that, you can use everything.
Yeah, but there's a cost to those. So what I was trying to get to the point is, there's ways of anybody that comes out of your funnel that you haven't grabbed in there, of attracting them again and getting them back into another funnel somewhere. And there's loads of systems out there. But if you do the funnel right and you get that content right, as Riese has been saying, and you look at that and you get them into those, and you do charge them a little bit. Those people that you get in, you're not going to lose those. They're already bought into what it is that you've got. So the likelihood is that whatever you then show them again, if you give them then something free after that, you've got their information, you've got their $7, you're going to give them something else free. They're going to go, do you know what? For $7, I've actually got $40 worth of stuff here. This is good. I'm bought into Riese. I'm bought into Adrian. I'm bought into what Elliot does. And that works. Then you've got them in there. They're feeling nice and warm and looked after and cozy, aren't they? And they're like feeling like you've got their back. All psychological, but it works.
They've shown trust in you. I mean, they've pulled out their wallet and bought your product, man. And that's a lot of trust. That's a lot of confidence. And I never take that lightly. $7 means a lot. It means this guy wants to hear what I really have.
Yeah.
I want to touch on two things before we go back. You'd mentioned clarity earlier.
Yeah.
Clarity and elimination are a couple words that you just use. And to me, that's where the clarity comes in for business owners, is getting them to eliminate the distractions and focus on what's really making them the most money, what their bread and butter is, what the best market is at the time. I mean, targets or markets change. We get it. But the clarity is elimination, is getting rid. I tell people all the time, well, I've got this marketing company who's going to get me 1 million impressions. I'm like, far out. You know what? Wouldn't you rather have 10,000 people who really want what you have? Because a targeted message may only reach 10,000 people, but it's 10,000 people that want what you want. Yeah. Maybe not million, maybe you reach 10,000 people. I don't know. I'm not much of a stats guy, but I read enough and I know enough to know that 1 million impressions doesn't translate into 10,000 raving clients or raving customers. I promise you 10,000 targeted funnel, $7 report buying people. I bet you got a much higher ratio of conversion in that 10,000 hot to or warm to hot market than you do that 1 million cold.
Yeah.
And clarity comes through elimination, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. I've never heard of it look like that before. Yeah. Makes absolute sense, because you can get clarity on what it is that you're offering, but is that clarity on that audience? I think you're absolutely right. So it's a completely different way of looking at it, actually eliminating certain people or certain things, which again takes that clarity a step further. Massively valid point. Yeah, for sure. I've never heard that before, have you, Adrian?
No, not
using the financial services world as an example, because these guys have so many different programs and offerings that they have that they can just get diluted. But if they pick a market, they can focus their time, their effort, their advertising dollar, whatever, on that market. All of a sudden, they're driving quality leads. They're driving people who want exactly what it is that they're trying to sell. And they're excited. They're selling their favorite product. They're selling the most profitable product. They eliminate all the other people out there. They're going, hey, man, can you get me a better rate and term than this guy up the street? Because he could beat the guy up the street. And I tell him, stop racing to the bottom on price. Focus on the people that need your solutions. So clarity through elimination.
I suppose you mean same like that 401k or orphanage or something, or same like some veteran financial services. So going for a specific target audience rather than going very broad, or what do you mean more by that?
I have a client. If you go to his website right now, you can't. There's no way in hell you can tell what he does, other than the fact that the top of his page it says financial services.
Okay.
He has no expertise in anything that you can tell by looking at his website. And I love the guy. I drink beer with him. He knows. I've told him this. When you go to his website, you can't tell what he does. A confused mind always says no. If I'm looking for a small business loan and the first thing I see is residential and commercial financing, so wait a minute, residential and commercial, I'm looking for a small business loan. I need some restaurant equipment. And I have to go through all his links, or I have to go down to the bottom of his page and go through his footer links to find out that somewhere in the back of his website, he does in fact offer me a small business loan. I'm gone already. I'm done.
Yeah, it's true.
And he just says, like, dude, you're not an expert in anything. You're a smart guy and you know your programs and anything, but to the world, you look just like a million other financial services guys. No offense, financial services guys. I hope I'm helping some of them out there and getting their minds thinking, because they really need to focus. But he is now 401k orphan focused. You know what I'm saying? So
that's interesting. It is definitely interesting. It's making me think about a couple of things, to be fair. It does, because you do. I mean, we've said this time and time again, you know, you can't be everything to everybody. You're better off being something to somebody. And you're right, confusion. I mean, you know, how many websites have I looked at over the years where it isn't really what I'm looking for? Hey, they're the best at what they do as well, probably, but it's not what I'm looking for. And I just don't stay there. I very rarely do. And there's got to be more and more people that are going to be getting more skeptical as there's more websites, there's more competition, there's more people moving online. You know, and it's less easy to maybe get your point across to a customer if they're only going to find you digitally. You know, even networking and things now, it's become, okay, it's moved a little bit, and over this year definitely has become more online, but it's still not the same as going and seeing somebody at a show and just bumping into somebody. It's all set up ready for you. So if it isn't there in your network, how are you going to come across these things? You know, you go to a business show, for example, you might wander around and go, oh yeah, that guy stepped out in front of me. Well, you've got to step out in front of people on social media and digital marketing, haven't you, as well? And that's how you've got to get your head into it. If whatever you used to do, if you've been doing business for years and wonder why it's suddenly changed, you've got to basically transfer that into the digital world. Step out in front of them, make yourself known, and then be very clear about the fact that the person you've just stepped out in front of, how do you know they're the right person for you? So you've got to qualify them. And that's where you've got to sort of think about then putting that into a digital format and into a digital funnel and getting them into that process. There's a few things there that I really like. And clarity is always a thing that we say time and time again on this show, is about, you know, being clear so that you get your point across and you get your right clients. But elimination.
I use the word focus all the time. I tell people all the time, focus, man. Just focus. One target. When you're shooting with a bow and arrow, I mean, mankind survived by throwing a spear, throwing a rock, shooting a bow and arrow at a target. Yeah. You know, you feed yourself by focusing on your target. They love that analogy sometimes. But I just tell them, just focus, you know, pick your market. Then we craft your message. And then the rest of the funnel steps, we build off of that.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, we've got a comment, of course. Good evening. That's my mum. She's double Dutch, so she's missed out the O. So from Spain, saying hi to us all. Good evening, mum. Thanks very much for watching, as always. One of our biggest fans, as Hakel is these days as well, I think, to be honest, is always follow us, which is great. A little quiet on the comments this evening, but don't be shy, guys. If there's any questions over the next few minutes of the show, then drop them in below. If you're live, then let us know where you're watching from, and if you are watching the replay, then also let us know where you're watching from, and if you've got any questions, then let us know. We can always make sure that Riese gets those and we can answer them back.
Hello, Elliot's mom as well.
Say again, sorry.
I say hello, Elliot's mum.
So here we are. We've got that. You've got the points of the funnel. You've got a few points there and different buttons, because you don't want to repeat. You want to give them some extra bits of added val, and you might want to go down and give them a little bit more information that might help them. Is that where it ends, Riese?
No, and so to understand, I may give less information. I may have a very simple.
Good point.
Top of the page. It just really depends on what I'm trying to do. You know, if I have a higher ticket item, if ultimately what I'm going to be selling you is $1,000 baking course, I'm going to convince you right from the get-go that I'm your guy. You know, I'm going to make sure that I'm an expert going in, because I'm getting ready to hit you for $1,000 in the next few minutes. I'm getting ready to hit you for $1,000. If I'm just trying to get an application, you know, if I'm just looking for a qualified mortgage applicant, for instance, I don't need a whole sales page. What I'm going to give you is my hook, the story, and the offer pretty much right there. Like I told you, I'm gonna address your pain points. I'm gonna agitate a little bit. And I'm gonna give you a solution, all in one little spot.
Yeah.
You're gonna put your email in. You're gonna go to an application page, and then someone's gonna give you a call. It's just that simple. Yeah. So I don't need a whole sales letter,
of course.
Or, for that. I mean, I can get the classic top of the fold and be perfectly done with 5 good bullet points. So no, it's not done. So once we've gotten past that first step, depending on what the goal is, maybe they're going to fill out an application. So what that does is now I've got a qualified, interested applicant for my product. Cool. Or I've got someone who bought my product and I'm able to start upselling them, downselling them, and giving them a one-time offer. So no, that's once they've clicked on a call to action, now they're in the process. And of course, they're automatically going into my funnel or my email campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a good point. Go on, Adrian. Sorry.
I want to ask you, okay, so then one very important step, I suppose, or thing, how do you bring traffic to that funnel?
A variety of ways. The 4 biggies: Facebook groups, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and then of course your other favorite social media. You got to go where your clients are, your customers are. Mm-hmm. I know. Here's a perfect example. I have a client who's in the cannabis sector. He can't go on Facebook and try to find people and do advertising. They're trickling some more things, but he can't go to Facebook. So
really, I didn't know that was a thing.
No, he cannot.
Snapchat is the only social media platform that allows CBD. If you want to tell him that, but
in Canada.
Sorry?
No. I'm in the States.
No. You're saying. So if I missed something here, so you're saying in Canada you can't do that.
Anywhere in the world. It's not about Canada. Social media, so Facebook, Instagram, and loads of other platforms, none of them allows you to talk anything about CBD or anything like that.
Oh, I see. Well, CBD, right?
Which is odd. Facebook won't, but actually Instagram is quite open, which is very unusual to me. But where he found his best success was on LinkedIn, because he's reaching out. His particular product, he's reaching out to executives of cannabis companies. So his market is not hanging, or his people are not hanging out in Facebook groups, talking about the latest marketing techniques. I mean, so his platform from him is LinkedIn. Right. He wouldn't spend a dime. He wouldn't spend a minute on Facebook. No offense against Facebook, but it's not his platform. So you get your message out where your target's hanging out. Yeah. So, I don't know anything about TikTok or Snapchat, but if I find out that one of my clients, that's where their perfect customer is, buddy, in the next 24 to 48 hours, I'm going to get real good on those things, because that's where my market has to go out. If it's an e-product, work great on Instagram, so wherever the market is where I go looking for, or wherever they're hanging out is where I look for the people who want the information.
So I completely misheard that a little while ago, because I thought we were talking about Canada. Now we're talking about cannabis. My ears poked up. But you're right. Okay, yeah. So I get you now. Yeah. Interesting that you said that LinkedIn is the place for that. And of course that it's you were going for the highbrow sort of business person and aiming a particular product there. You're absolutely right. You've got to find them wherever they are going to be, and Facebook isn't always the answer, but you can't always get them into a funnel from there, though. Do you, apart from I suppose a link in there, do you do a lot of paid ads? Do you utilize a lot of paid stuff on the platforms? So most of your stuff is organic, right?
I don't spend a dime on ads.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I'm active. I get in there and I'm active, and I offer information. I answer a lot of questions at length.
Yeah.
I'm very helpful, and I that's where the majority of my business is driven. And then I reach out to people. Yeah. If I know there are platforms out there now where my message can be shared, so I'll go out and do things like doing right here and to help spread my word. I don't do ads.
I love it.
Not yet. Not that I'm against paid advertising. Don't get me wrong. But
if it works organically, then Jesus, this is the world to work as much organically as you can. I mean, we're here to help, as many SMEs, SMBs in America, whatever it is, micro businesses, professionals that want to get themselves out there, right? That's where we want to. We're on a quest to help as many people as we can that way, because we're all in that arena, right? Unless we're $1 billion turnover company, you're pretty well an SME these days. So we want to help as many people as can, and I think the best way, if you're starting off, or even if you're just growing or you're scaling up, as much as you can do organically is massively important. There is a level of business there that a lot of people are missing out on if you don't work it. Now, generate revenue and then start doing paid and get those extra people in. And that's what you start doing. Tweak it, try it out. Very, very quickly, obviously, Mum said big hi to you, Adrian, because you missed out. And Anne-Marie Wickham, big love to you, Anne-Marie. Thanks very much for watching us. Good evening. Very good evening to you. Very interesting on the funnel. And I know something that Anne-Marie's looked at in the past as well. Copywriting. For sure, one of the biggest hardest part of the sell that we've definitely spoken about, and I think it's a subject matter that we definitely want to be talking about a lot more, because it's again, if it isn't your bag, copywriting, that isn't an easy thing to do, and we say on this show, if it is something that you do not know how to do and you cannot do it for love nor money, then outsource it. Get it out to somebody that can do it, because it isn't as expensive as you think. It really isn't. And you just get the right copywriter for you, then you are going to be quids in, definitely, because it's that copywriting that's definitely going to make the difference to a lot of your marketing, a lot of your marketing processes.
It makes all the difference. It's like I said, I mean, copywriting it starts in your headline. I mean, it's the subject matter of your emails. It's the description and the title of your YouTube video. It's the description of your Facebook group. It's the description of your Facebook profile. If you're not copywriting properly, you're missing out. Great news about copywriting is it's something you get better at. You practice at, because you test. You constantly test.
Yeah.
Run a headline, watch it. If you got results, tweak it. If you're not getting results, change it. But constantly testing will make you a better copywriter. So take heart, folks. You can someday become a proficient enough copywriter to sell your products. But yes, if you suck at copywriting and you need to start making some money now, and you got a couple bucks, get yourself some copywriting. And kind of touch on what you were saying earlier about helping the small businesses. I think that if you're not sharing all the free tools with your clients or your customers or your listeners, whatever, you're just not doing them a service, because they're going to go find out anyway, and they're going to want to know why you didn't tell them about, like, Loom or something like that.
Yeah.
Share the tools, and guys like us, we spend time on the internet, or we're digital guys. If you got some guy who was a craftsman all of his life, and maybe he's not an internet guy, you start telling him about sales funnels and Loom and Zoom meetings and stuff. He's like, dude, I'm going back to hammer and nails. I mean, you just lost me. But if you take some time explaining to them, no, there's easy tools, and better yet, they're free, man, you start building that trust. And I think it's just a fair thing to do to.
Yeah. Going back to the copywriting, though, and you were sort of you're giving that to other people, and you're right. You absolutely do learn, and you may well pay for it for a while, but you pick up tips, don't you? You go to the experts. It's like going to a coach. The whole thing about getting a coach is they're going to coach things out of you. They're going to help you to understand, help you to learn, help you to understand the benefits and why those things will work and the right copywriting. So it may cost you now, but in the long run, you're going to understand better. And it may well be that you're never a copywriter, but you understand the theory. So when you come to somebody else, that you understand how to put that across better, and you're going to get the results back a lot quicker. That goes with anything.
In all reality, in all actuality, that's what my clients pay me for, is copywriting. Yeah. It's not building their funnel. It's not putting pretty pictures in the right spots. It's not the right fonts. It's getting the message to their perfect customer, client, that's getting that guy to push that button. That's it. They pay me for copywriting when it all comes down to it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, I have definitely picked up some about funnels. It's something we've been talking about, a lot, isn't it, over the last sort of 12 months, Adrian?
Yeah, I think we got a bit more clarity, let's say, because it's things that we knew. It's just that you tend to forget them a lot. And that usually happens, guys. That's a tip that I will give to everyone. When you try to be exactly like Riese said, people that know loads of things about maybe financial services, but they're not particularly exceptional at any of them. That's what happens with us as well sometimes, It's better to stick with something, master that, and then just move on to next thing if you want, right? If not, just stay with that. And yeah, thank you, Riese, for reminding us some of the things that we know we should have done.
Yeah. Well, I know the message is for guys like the three of us, whatnot, we understand them or we know a little bit about them, but it's always good, multiple minds sharing the thought and getting it out there. I'm glad I reminded you guys of a couple of things. I did see you over there, Elliot. I did see you a couple times ago. Oh shit! Good.
Yeah, he does. I mean, listen, it's why you can never learn too much. I mean, I've been on sales courses years ago, and you go on them, and then 10 years later or 5 years later, you go on another course, and you think, yeah, I know this stuff. Oh yeah, I don't do that, and you get complacent sometimes. You think you know things, but you never stop learning, and and repetitive learning things over and over can only make you better at bringing those things to light when you need them. Anne-Marie, again, as mentioned there, she's gone, totally believe copywriting changes your whole business.
Oh, yeah.
Good copywriting. Absolutely, Anne-Marie. It's a necessary evil in the modern world of digital marketing, for sure. Riese, where can everybody find you? Because I actually find you and really easy to you put stuff across really well. I think you deliver it well. You deliver it in a quite a chunk down way that makes you understand logically how these things work, rather than, I have to be honest with you, we were probably a little afraid when we were looking at the funnels and getting somebody on, because it could be a bit broad. What you've done is you've chunked it down and made it quite a real way of looking at things. And I think I'm going to be watching this back. I definitely urge a lot of people that have only caught part of this show to check this show out, because I actually think there's a huge amount to be taken from this. Where can people find you, Riese?
RieseFrederick.com. RIESE Frederick FREDERICK.com.
Excellent. Perfect. Great stuff. Anne-Marie, you've made a quick comment there. Thank you, guys. Really informative show with some great insights. Mastermind in process.
Anne-Marie just keyed on the word, the mastermind. That's the new strategy for the world these days, I believe. Masterminds.
Yes, it is. It is. And I'm finding that in this show, I mean, we actually have just got you on this evening. Often we get two guests on as well, and actually find that you do have that a little bit more. And I feel that we're getting into the show and actually doing that a lot more. I think there's a lot more value to be had from that than just coming on and going, well, this is how you do shit and this is how you do that. No, really enjoyed it. Thanks very much, Riese. I think it's been massively informative. Definitely some pivotal things there for people to take from this, because I've looked at funnels and I know plenty of other people have looked at them and thought, yeah, I love this. It's very, very expensive if you take on somebody that, in that arena that they create funnels and they're going to help you put it together. It's not a cheap thing to do. And I think sometimes you need to maybe try something out before you and get that to work before you then go, do you know what? I'm going to pay, somebody to do this for you. So I think we've given somebody some insights that might save them a little bit of time and a little bit of effort and a little bit of money by going, let's get this right first. So then when I do speak to somebody like Riese, I've got a better idea and we can go into depth a bit quicker. Really cool. Really enjoyed this show. Thank you very much. Adrian.
I've had a blast, guys. It was a hell of a way for me to spend it Tuesday morning. Thank you. I like it.
Yeah, great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Adrian, your take?
My take is, again, stick to what you're good at. Try to, let's say, understand your audience a bit better, just like Riese said, and maybe try to value yourself a bit more. And if you know you're good at something, try to put the whole process on a piece of paper or whatever works for you and see how you can make money out of it.
Yeah. And make sure you eliminate as well. Let's make sure you eliminate some shit out of that as well. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd be happy. I apologize. I should have just drawn out a simple little ladder and just kind of posted it up so everyone can kind of see it drawn out. But I think they got the idea.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'd like to get you back, Riese, at some stage if you're happy to come back and we'll chat about this in more depth. Definitely, it's a subject that I don't think is talked about in shows like this. To be fair, so really like to do that. If you want to know more about Riese, then Adrian has very kindly dropped in some links so you can find Riese and find out how he does what he does, and if he can help you with your business and get a funnel sorted. Because I think this guy is the guy to help you. If you want to know more about what's going on Essex Business Radio and the guests that we've got coming on, then keep an eye out across Facebook and Instagram, which is Essex Business Radio. Twitter is Essex Biz Radio. And if it's an audio podcast you're after, this will be turned into an audio podcast very soon. We are just creating a larger team here in the Essex Business Radio studio, where we are going to be getting more content out. So you guys know where to find the videos, and you can listen to the audio podcast if you're going to be listening now you're commuting a bit more, or on your morning run, or if you're sat in Vegas with nothing to do before you go to the casino. Listen, Riese, it's been really informative, very edutaining, and I've really enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Seriously, gentlemen, it's been my pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'd come back anytime. Just let me know.
Great.
Thank you, Riese. Thank you a lot.
Thanks very much. Well, big love to you all, and looking forward to the shows for the rest of the week. We are live Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 7 p.m. UK time. You'll have to check what that is, or BST, British Summertime, which is coming to an end this month. Particularly, the weather already has. But I'm hoping it's sunny wherever you are, and just make the sun shine anyway by just being happy and breathing and being positive. That's what we're going to leave on this evening. Big love to you all. Thank you very much for joining us, and we're going to catch you tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. UK time. So for now, we're going to say
ciao for now.
Brown cow.